Okay, so also when you in your um, like bond, let's say your bond with your disciple, I'm sure there's like a lot of challenges along the way. It's not always like smooth sailing, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
like, oh, here you my disciple, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Let's go on and do it.
Yeah.
So what is one of the biggest challenges you came across so far
Well,
within your
I can tell you a lot
yourself?
of sub story. I can tell you a lot of sub story, but obviously there are, you know, but this is a life. You know, this is a life.
Yeah.
This is I have been through for many years. So to me, you know, reason I'm saying I have, you know, a one discipleship, disciple. So I had, you know, I had almost like a three disciples before. Basically, you know, I don't consider another two as like a disciple because, you know, for the dedication. This is what I'm talking about dedication before. You know, your 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 dedication and your trust, should I trust as well? So you know, there's so many factors. You know, then you know ways that you have to choose the real disciple for myself. You know, so yeah, in that way, you know, because for me, really particular, I'm very particular person to teaching kung fu. You know, sometimes I really, for example, like when I teaching stuff, for example, like a Martin, like she was doing a lot of things, like kung fu training wise, always making the same mistake. You tell her, okay, this is how you would do it. This is how you kicking. This is how you punching. This is how you jump, and she keep making the same mistake. So usually what I do, you know, obviously when I teaching in China, it's completely different over here. In my days, I'm talking about in my days, obviously. So when I teaching in China, when I in 99, well, I started in 98, 99, and 2000, and so on. So because if you know, at that time, if one of my students making mistake, I teaching them like 2, 3, or 4 times. The student will remember most things. You know, they will do it, they will practice. And then when I come back to check them, they get it. You know,
Yeah.
they're doing absolutely fantastic. Which is over here, so you have to be patient. You know,
Yeah.
through especially right now. You know, I've been teaching in the UK for like over 20 years now. So yeah, I learned, you know, the patient. I learned the people's characters. You know, I learned the situation. You know, things like that. But you know, so now I kind of understand the culture. So reason I'm saying that, you know, when I teaching Martins, a lot of situations like she carry on making the same mistake over and over and over again. You know where you kind of super frustrated. You know, sometimes the frustration was like you don't want to do it anymore. You know, you just want to just give up. You know, this clearly you're not what should I say useless, but obviously that's not a right way to think. But yeah, so you just continue. But a lot of times in life, that's just opposite from the training. From the personal life, you know, a lot of times, you know, we have like disagree something, you know, we arguing, but which is fine, you know, you arguing, you know, I like if you don't disagree something to you have to, you know, we can talking about it. If we're not talking about it, we can't, you know, like you have your own opinion, I have my own opinion, we can sharing it. You know, in the end, we're sorting out, it's all good. It's all good. But, you know, a lot of situations, no matter from training, lifestyle, and, you know, you're working together, things like that. It's, you know, up and down, up and down. But because of up and down, then build the relationship even more closer than before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like a bit also like a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
So for example, your disciple puts in all the dedication, goes like, yeah, I'm doing the training, even if I don't remember, I keep on doing it, I keep on doing it, yeah?
Yeah.
And so for you, it's testing your patience, so
Yeah.
you're growing in yourself as well, yeah?
yeah.
As kind of learning how to kind of deal with the situation of repeating yourself
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a both way learning
Oh yes.
as well. Yeah.
Oh yes. You know, you have you got these. You know, you learn the skill. You learn the techniques. You know, the martial art, Shaolin martial arts from the Shaolin temple. You know, this kung fu been there for over 1,500 years, as you can imagine. So passing down through generations to generations, all the way to us. So you know, it's time for us to share that knowledge to other people. You know, so this is like what we were talking about earlier. This is my duty, my responsibility. Make sure people get the real kung fu. It's not like you know. I don't want to criticize some other people. Basically, I want to people to get the real traditional kung fu from what I learned, you know, from the traditional way. And of course, we live in a modern world. We do adopt the modern martial arts, but in the end, we all learn the same thing, no matter traditional or modern. We all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a question on, you know, in traditional, I think people have this in their mind. Okay, if I become a disciple, I live in the same house as the master, and yeah, kind of because you said like the bond is quite close,
Yeah.
and sometimes even more than family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you as like you basically spend a lot of time with your disciple as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does that affect your life in general as well?
No, it doesn't fit. Well, you can't say you don't affect your personal life. It does. So basically, you take on someone, you take on student to become a disciple. So you have the duty, you have the responsibility. They are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, you've like there's a lot of people, like you said, they have all that fantasy. Okay, I'm gonna live with my master. I'm gonna live in a mountain. I'm gonna live in a cave. You know, that's just like a fantasy world. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. In reality, it's just like a normal people. You know, you go to work as long your dedication, you have a good heart, you have your character, and you have your, you know, your what you call it, that word, I can't remember yet, that word come to my head. So basically you dedicated, you really dedicated your training, your life to your master. Then that's okay. You go to work, you come back to training, and you do the right thing from your master, and then that's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way as well, it's like because it's like Shaolin is quite global. Yeah. So at the moment, do you see that your disciple lives obviously in the same proximity? Yeah. Could you imagine to have disciples in China or somewhere else, like remotely, where they're not, close, like locally close to you? Could you imagine that works?
So personally, you know, I can't see that word. You know, I talk about me. You know, I'm not saying other people. You know, as you know, today's disciple, people choose a disciple. I think it's very different than the olden days. So you know, for a master to choose a disciple, you know, what we said, you know, there's a process. You know, for me, most importantly, I needed to have a good relationship between myself I'm my disciple. You know, without the relationship, then no matter how good your martial arts skill, you know, and I don't know, personally, another thing is I don't know your character.
Yeah.
You could be a really good person, but I don't know. But I cannot accept that.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So, you know, there's people, I do have people asking me, send me email, I want to become a disciple.
What, and they're living in China or
they live
I
in,
don't know
so
where.
they live in America,
Yeah.
Canada, or Australia. I have that lot. And, okay, I want to pay like $10,000, whatever. I want to become a disciple. Can I do that? No, it's not about money.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, today don't be wrong, there are some masters, you know, as long as you pay the fee, then you become a disciple.
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, this is personal. You know, it's not just about money. This is, you know, this is like a life dedication. You know,
Yeah.
this is like you have to trust to each other. You know, you can't just accepting anyone as a disciple.
Yeah. But that's obviously rooted quite deep in lifelong tradition.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So obviously, once you become a disciple, you know, there's like obviously there's a lot of people want to become one. So there's people asking me, okay, so once I become a disciple, then what do I do? You know, what kind of things do you teach me? Things like that.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, once you become a disciple, usually Shifu will teach you. You know, some other people might call it secret. You know, it's no such things secret. But the secret things is you trying hard. That's the only thing is a secret. You know, you dedicated your time to training harder than ever before. You know, so that's a secret.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, so basically, once you become a disciple, you know, obviously, your master will focus on you more, you know, to trying like more harder than ever. So they will dedicate their time on, you know, focus on you to trying more deeper, you know, trying you more advanced stuff, you know, more advanced skills or techniques, you know, things like that. So that's.
Do you feel that you have to pass on all your knowledge to the disciple?
Absolutely.
Like everything you know, you pass on to the
Disciple.
to
Yeah,
the disciple.
absolutely. Because that's the reason. That is the reason you choose disciple.
Yeah.
Is you cannot just, you know, you can't just grab someone from the street to become a disciple, right? Like we talking about earlier. So this is why you have to choose right person, because you need to share your skill, your entire knowledge to your disciple.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that's quite a lot, isn't it?
yeah. Otherwise, what is the point to for people to become a disciple? You know.
Okay.
So this is you know, really important. Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you see as, like, just last question?
Yeah.
At this point in this time, how do you think your relationship with your disciple is progressing?
Sorry, I forgot your question.
No, I mean, I'll rephrase the question.
Yeah.
So, like, at this point in time, yeah. So obviously, you already taught your disciples certain things, and
Yeah.
you, and well, you don't know how much time you've got left, but how do you?
You sound like I'm
not
super
saying-
old now, and
I'm not-
you know,
I'm not-
about to, you know.
I'm not saying that, but obviously, so how do you feel the current state of your relationship and your how is it going? Are you hopeful, or are you challenged or frustrated?
No, I think, you know, like I said earlier, I think you know, through the lot of difficulty situation and scenarios, and time, in life so far. I think we are more closer than before. We're understanding more to each other. Develop even more, and there's a lot of things we are looking forward to do in the future. So like I said, we right now, especially this time in my life, so I'm not ready for new disciples yet. So there will be, hopefully there will be more coming later. I'm looking forward for the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah. So, but okay, this is an additional thing. In Chinese, this is related with the culture. This is like there's a lot of other. It's not just Shaolin discipleship. Other masters as well. So, for example, especially in Wen Chuan side. So basically in Chinese culture, so what I'm trying to say is like, if, like people say, like earlier you asked the question, what about if you can quit a discipleship? It's not about quit, or, so basically sometimes if there's a lot of students or disciple, they betray their master, betray their relationship.
So what do you mean by betray?
You're doing things. Betray means like you're doing things behind your master, doing bad things.
I see. Okay.
You're broken a relationship. That, especially in the culture wise, that's like considered as like a dishonest. Dishonor disciple. So that basically once you do that, especially in the culture wise, then the master could broken. excuse me. Could broken the discipleship between you and the person.
So that's pretty much if your disciple goes like completely against the values
That's
you
right.
have.
Yeah.
And certain things you can't tolerate.
Yeah. That
okay.
happens. Yeah, that happens. Like I said, especially from the culture perspective, so that can happen. But of course, normally we don't want to go to that direction. Yeah. But yeah, so this is discipleship topic.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.